This video provides a summary of the cleanup requirements for the Portland Cement Concrete Mixing Lab. Cleanup is very important because hardened concrete will stick to tools, equipment, and surfaces, in some cases causing irreversible damage. When cleaning, the following safety precautions are required: safety glasses, closed-toed shoes, latex gloves, long sleeves, and long pants. The following equipment and supplies are required for cleaning: buckets, rags, a hose, a shovel and scoop, a wheelbarrow, a tub, and all dirty tools and equipment used in the lab. The main rule when cleaning is that no water from the concrete lab should be discharged or dumped directly into drainage structures such as catch basins in the lab. Not only can this clog the drainage structures, the sediment content and pH of the concrete wash water is not suitable for discharge into the storm sewer system. Remember, in many cases, stormwater systems go directly to local water sources such as streams, rivers, or lakes. These considerations apply not only to this lab, but real-world construction as well. Additionally, large quantities of concrete should not be discharged into the sedimentation basin in the lab. This will plug up the sedimentation system. One group of students should work on cleaning all small equipment that has come in contact with the fresh concrete. This equipment should be cleaned using a hose and a rag. This includes all trowels, floats, tamping rods, air pot equipment, strike plates, slump cones, shovels, scoops, etc. Care should be taken to rinse the equipment in the sedimentation basin between the saw and the core machine near the hose faucets. This allows the greatest amount of settlement of materials within the basin and helps prevent discharge of the sediments into the storm drain system. It is important to not clean your equipment near the concrete mixer, as this significantly reduces the effectiveness of the sedimentation system. Another group of students should work on cleaning up the area where all the tests and specimens were fabricated. Any fresh concrete left over from slump tests or air tests or in the mixer should be shoveled into the wheelbarrow. The wheelbarrow should be dumped in the appropriate location for disposal of solid materials at the direction of the TA. This disposal area should provide sufficient containment so that no water will drain from discarded concrete and run into the storm drains or across walkways. Additionally, do not pour concrete onto surfaces where it will adhere and become difficult to remove. When cleaning the concrete mixer, it is important to avoid the discharge of fresh concrete or rinse water into the sump directly below the mixer itself. To avoid this, rinse the mixer into a wheelbarrow and a tub placed below the mixer. These containers can be used to catch the rinse water to prevent it from going onto the floor. The mixer should be turned occasionally under the direction of the TA to ensure all areas are thoroughly cleaned. It is important to keep in mind that the mixer may contain hardened concrete from improper use from previous students, which cannot be removed. Therefore, visual inspection is insufficient to assess the cleanliness of the mixer. Instead, inspect the water coming from the mixer. Run the water until the water coming from the mixer runs clear and not cloudy. Once the mixer is satisfactorily clean, the rinse water in the wheelbarrow can be poured into the sedimentation basin between the saw and the core machine near the hose faucets. If excessive solids are present in the wheelbarrow, it may be necessary to decant most of the water off in the sedimentation basin and dispose of the remaining solids outside in the solid disposal area. Do this under the direction of the TA. Care must be taken to avoid placing the concrete in a manner that would allow it to drain outside of the solid disposal area. Any surface or stationary equipment that has been splashed or smeared with concrete should be cleaned. This will require spraying off areas above the sedimentation basin, wiping down scales or other laboratory equipment with a wet rag, and shoveling, sweeping, and rinsing any concrete that fell onto the floor of the laboratory. Everyone should participate in cleaning. Students who leave prior to the completion of cleaning will not receive credit for participation in the lab. The TA will dismiss students once cleaning is complete.